Well, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. You're joined tonight by myself, GB, and the very own heartthrob of Rangers Radio, Stevie, for the drum. How are we doing, Stevie?
Brand new, GB, yourself?
Well, mate, it's been an interesting week for the Rangers. Ups and downs, I suppose. Can I get your thoughts quickly just on the match the other night, mate? How are you feeling about
it? Listen, I'm not too disappointed. They were an absolutely great side. They stroked the ball about. They were a big, strong, physical team, well organised, and I thought they could have went up a year. I really do. And I don't think we were at our best. I think we could play better. So the tie's wide open for me, JB, but I wasn't leaving Ibrox too disappointed. Although it's going to be a wee bit harder for us going out to Eindhoven, but I mean, there's a lot of players never really played well for me in the Rangers team, Kent, Golson and guys like that. But if we all play our A game, bring our A game in Eindhoven and a wee bit of luck, who knows what can happen, mate? The tie's still wide open.
It's funny, Stevie, we put these guys in that kind of bracket of being superhuman sometimes, but it was funny when Gio in his interview was saying that the team looked nervous the first kind of 15 minutes and needed to get themselves settled. It just shows you that they are human. I mean, even myself, I was nervous for them, but I mean, they're nervous because they're playing in the Champions League, and I would never know that feeling. But it shows you that they're just boys and they're just human at the end of the day, aren't they?
Aye, listen, we've got no divine right to beat anybody. We've got to fight for the right to. We've got to go out with the right attitude every game. It doesn't matter if it's PSV, then you're going to play Hibs here. The same level of commitment's got to be there. Listen, I get, a wee bit of the nerves and whatever the players might have. It's a big, big competition. They know what's at stake. They know what's at stake for the club. And let's not be honest, they know what's at stake for them too. They be getting bonuses going through different rounds and stuff and all. So listen, they're only human. They played a top. They're the Champions League side. They were a good team. The way they stroked the ball about and spelled, you could see that. You could see they were a top quality team. But as far as nerves go, Rangers at Ibrox, I fancy us any time by anybody at Ibrox with that crowd behind us. But listen, we're no. You said they're human. They're not always going to get the result we want. And a 2 each, let's be honest, 2 each was a fair result at the end of the night. They had the luck a wee bit with the first goal where it ping-ponged off a few people and they went one up and we rode with luck a wee bit with the goalie dropping the ball in the net. But our first goal with Cholats, 11 passes all across the park. And then bump your man Tav again, outstanding. The only time we go behind them right enough, but what a ball there, and big Cholats, a one touch finish. Bob's around, could divide that among these and the Bears are going potty. But listen guys, I just think we've got to dig our heels in out here. Gio's no daft as well. He'll read that for that game and know what's needed. But as I said, I didn't think a lot of players played to their potential. And if they do in Eindhoven, then we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, Stevie. I think there's definitely room for improvement. I think where I was most pleased at is that we actually went on the field and we were able to give PSV a game. I mean, when you're getting to this level, you're wondering, because it's Champions League, are they heavily invested in funds more than Rangers? Have they got more talent there that we just can't compete with? Because at the end of the day, our league has got limitations. But it was great to see us actually go out and give it a try. I mean, and like you say, Steve, we've left it wide open now with the 2-2 draw. Anything can happen, and and the way our European runs have been going, I suppose you could say that there's every chance that we can go through.
100%. Well, I'm definitely not writing us off. It's got to be a lot harder now going there and area ground, but can we do it? Of course we can. Have we beat better teams in Europe away from home? Of course we can. Of course we have. Dortmund, I know we've not been that great away from home in Europe, but what people have got to remember is it's the tie. It's a two-leg tie, and we've lost a lot of games away in Europe and won the tie. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. I'll lose the battle any time to win the war. So when we go out here, we get our sleeves rolled up, play to our potential, and just let's see what happens. And by the way, the Bears will be there in their droves as usual.
I like how you touched on that wee last bit there about the Bears. The other night there, when Van Nistelrooy was getting interviewed, he mentioned the Ibrox fans and the atmosphere that was created, that he knew that his players were under the cosh when he says he could feel the Ibrox and the Bears driving them on. It's fantastic that we can create that kind of atmosphere and put these kind of professionals under that pressure, huh, Stevie?
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, I watched a video of different professional football players, all big names, talking about the atmosphere at Ibrox, and quite rightly so. It was absolutely, when they came out that tunnel in that Champions League tune, and then see when the Bears sang the Blue Sea Ibrox, man, it was deafening. Absolutely deafening. So you could see why it helps our players, and it kind of things other the opposition. It kind of unsettles the opposition when the Bears are on voice and giving them a bit of stick, you know. It's a cauldron, mate, no two ways about it. It's an absolute cauldron. And that's why I fancy anybody at Ibrox. If we can get behind our team and support them and give the other team a bit of stick, then, my God, we're a hard bunch to beat on and off the field, I'll tell you that right now. And if the Bears go to Eindhoven, save maybe 2,000 of them in full voice, then let's just see what happens. They'll be mugs to write us off, put it that way.
The whole atmosphere that I think is going to drive the club and the players, I think, Stevie, with wanting the appetites back for Champions League football. I think hopefully with us obviously being the main ones holding up the coefficient, that they keep the appetite there, because that, like you say, the other night there when that Champions League music came on, as much as I have enjoyed the Europa League, it was nice to hear that kind of music back, and I bet you the players knew that they were probably on a higher stage that night, especially with the amount of media that I seen kicking about Ibrox was unreal. So again, to drive that appetite, we just have to keep pushing on it.
100%. I mean, my wee man's 15, GB, right? And that's the first he's heard the Champions League music at Ibrox, because of the journey we've been on. And when you finally hear it, you know, we were just spoiled. We didn't realise how spoiled we were nearly every year getting into the Champions League. It was fantastic. It was amazing watching players coming through all these different teams and playing at Ibrox. Unbelievable stuff. But you're talking about the media, the world media. Anytime Rangers are playing, you've got the world media there, because we're the only show down, GB. You know that. Everybody knows that.
Very true, mate. Very true. You picked up on another person. You were talking about the goal, our first goal, the equaliser, and a man that kind of epitomises creating chances for us is James Tavernier. Some fantastic news about him yesterday.
Brilliant news. Absolutely brilliant news. The man's a machine. The man's a total machine. Getting back to your goal, I know we're going to go into Tav a wee bit, but getting back to the goal, 11 passes, GB, from left to right, all across that park. A couple of nice wee 1-2s, and Tav was through, and Tav played a superb ball to the big and big Kolach, one touch finish. Good night, Vienna. And honestly, what a goal it was. And you probably don't get enough credit. If that was a bigger team had done it, like PSG or somebody like that, they'd be talking about it. They'd be talking about it morning, noon and night. The Bears do it, you know. It's just, we know the script. But anyway, yes, James Tavernier, what a fantastic piece of news. Cast your mind back. I don't know if you listened to the show a wee while back there. Everybody was talking about people gone, and will it be Morelos, will it be Kent, will it be Russian, will it be Rattian? And I came on the show and I said, I'm a wee bit worried that somebody comes in for our captain. Our captain is what, 29? sorry, GB 29. James Tavernier 29-30.
That's aye. He's fair. Aye, it's turned 30. Aye.
Now the man's as fit as a fiddle. He's up and down there. He's a machine. He's got another good 4 year on him. Would he not have been worth somebody taking a punt on? Let's be honest. What was Rangers, man?
See when you're looking, Stevie, and no naming names, but Man United, just for talking sakes, right? They're in a bit of a mess now, and you look at the James Tavernier's assists and goals ratio and his experience in all competitions. You've got to wonder why a team like that doesn't see the worth in going in for a guy like that. But on the other flip side of that, I'm quite glad because we've got a guy that's committed to our club, who loves our club, and who's, I think, for what I was reading, he's extended it for 3 years to extend his current deal for another 3 years. So, I mean, that again, just it cements him and it cements the club knowing that they've got a solid captain there for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah, it does. And let's be honest, James Tavernier leads by example. The way he leads off the field. I mean, Jimmy Bell's funeral, Walter Smith's funeral, the man was up there saying his bit, doing his stuff, and it just leads by example. And, you know, he's what you want, a Rangers captain. Boy, does they drink. You know, he's somebody to look up to. You don't hear him fighting kebab shops or up at doing dances. The man leads by the way a Rangers captain should lead off the field, and he's a lovely guy. I mean, I've had the pleasure of talking to him maybe once or twice for a couple of minutes, and away again. But he's a hell of a nice, down-to-earth guy, and he leads by example. And let's be honest, on the park, mate, I think it was 2 shows, maybe 3 shows ago, somebody mentioned that about his stats, and he's up there with all these great players. When you look at his stats, I mean, the company he's keeping with his stats is absolutely frightening, and that's why I'm scratching my head saying it's one of these English teams that's got a couple of bob. How they not taking a punt on this guy? He's a mature right back. I don't want him to go the same as you, but it just makes you wonder, you know. But absolute machine, great leader, and leads by example. That'll do me.
85 goals and I think it's 355 appearances. Just it's outstanding, especially like Stevie. You touched on it, the amount of stuff that he's had to deal with since joining Rangers. I mean, 2015, I think I'm correct in saying, was when he joined, and I mean the journey that he's been on through Rangers and probably getting all the advice and stuff like that, and eventually getting us back to winning the title and like I say, that European run and stuff. It's just he's had to deal with a lot, and then obviously we've had people passing away as well. He's had to deal with that as part of the club. So
I think you agree, JB, that loyalty's hard to find, eh?
Especially in this day and age, Stevie. That's what guys always run for the money, but I think Tav's staying for the love of the club, which is very, very few and far between nowadays. Which maybe goes on to a question we can ask the Bears out there tonight, and maybe start creating a wee bit of debate. Is James Tavernier the best right back that Rangers has ever had? It'll probably start a few arguments tonight, but if you think about it, the man could be the best right back that Rangers has ever had in their team.
Well, GB, as Del Boy and Rodney says, what can't speak can't lie. Look at his credentials on paper, mate. There's an argument there. There's certainly an argument. You'll probably have the old team on saying blah blah blah, Sandy Jardine, guys like that. You know what I mean? Gary Stevens, Arthur Newman. There's been plenty, but or there's a debate there. All right, James Tavernier for me is the best I've seen. I've got to be honest. He's the best for me. And I'll argue the point with anybody that you put James Tavernier's credentials, the way he acts off the park, against whoever they want to come on and say, then I'll certainly give my tuppence worth.
Well, Bears, there you've had it. You've got the gauntlets laid into you. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, Stevie, I'm looking forward to hearing from a lot of the Bears out there on James Tavernier. He does throw up debate. He's his defensive qualities sometimes come into question. But I mean, how many times has he not been on that park? I mean, I think there's only been one time I can think of that he was off injured during the kind of Patterson time when he came in, and that was purely on I think it was a medical problem. So the boy is a complete professional and knows how to obviously G up our team, because at the end of the day, if he wasn't a leader, I don't think we'd have some of the success we've already had with him.
No, he's a mainstay in the team, mate. As I said earlier on, he's an absolute machine. Absolutely. By the way, I don't know how many appearances he's had. What did you say?
It was 353 appearances he's had to date. That's
unbelievable. The boy's just a pure mainstay in the team. You have to drag the boy off the park. It's only an injury has probably kept him out, as you said. And that was that no last the 55 season, the end of the 55 season?
Aye, it was, because that's when Patterson came in and he was the one that got the move to that, which is like he says, you would think our captain was the one that would be up in lights, getting touted, but there you go. It's the other right back that got set and end up. But no, fantastic stats, and long may it continue. And we're going to need him next week, Stevie, aren't we?
Oh, 100%. He's experienced now, and he's played all the world with Rangers, obviously, in the Europa League. And he was a Europa League top goal scorer last season.
Aye, that's right. And he's the only one to win the Golden Boot or something like that as well in the last, since, was it 1994, 95, I think it is. He's the only defender to win it or something like that. It's frightening to think that a guy like that was able to win the Golden Boot in that competition. But again, he deserves it, Stevie. He's worked hard. I mean, he's not one of these guys that's been slacking. He's been craving all this success and stuff like that, and I think, like I says, he's earned it. And I would just hope that he can start adding a couple of more trophies to the cabinet for himself.
Oh no, he deserves it. I mean, for some of his performances in Europe, I mean, the man's been there time and time again, scoring vital goals for us. And he's just that mixture in that team that you need. When the chips are down, he keeps going and he keeps going. More so in the Premier League, the man just keeps going. I mean, look at the goal against Livingston to win 2-1. You know, what a free kick. He scored umpteen screamers for us. I know people are going to come on and say, but he scores a lot of penalties. But give the guy credit when it's due. He scored a lot of free kicks. So he has vital goals for us, cracking heaters as well. So, no, I can't praise the guy enough. He's a captain that, let's be honest, he could walk into any team in the Premier League, couldn't he? So, up here and down the road, you're probably talking, he could probably walk into any team right up to probably the top 4 or 5, and then Man United, I mean, come on, teams like that, he could easily get a game for. But we'll argue the point. We'll see who phones in and we'll see what the debate is, right? But James Tavernier, for me, I love him, man, to bits. Great idol. For any kid looking at a captain, that's who they should idolise themselves on, 100%.
Brilliant. Well, like I say, we'll wait and see for the Bears to phone in on that debate, and we'll throw up another wee question that we've kind of seen the team get questioned on, obviously, the performance the other night in certain quarters. And I was just wondering, Stevie, I mean, you're a Bear yourself, and there's no right or wrong answer with this. And again, it creates a wee bit of debate. As an expectation as a Rangers fan, and I'll probably steal a wee bit of Stevie G's quotes here, with what is the fundamentals for yourself that you would be having in your expectations for a Rangers team season in, season out? What would you say is acceptable just now for us?
Right. I'm just like many, but I go home and away here. I try to get as many tickets as I can. I'll be going through to Edinburgh with my boy with a ticket coming up this weekend. Right, that's the kind of bear I'm on. Now, no matter who we play, I want Rangers to win. We're Rangers. We want to win every game. That goes without saying. But sometimes you've got to step back and be realistic and see what you're came for and see the opposition you're playing. They were a great team the other night. They stroked the ball great. They were strong. They were physical. you know. And for me, Van Nistelrooy set them up tactically, not too bad. And I would honestly say that it was only a matter of time putting high balls into our box. Let's be honest. The law of averages, if you in one half put 10 high balls into our box, somebody's going to at least get a goal out of it, like they 10 balls, because we just can't deal with high balls. And they were a big, strong, physical team. And for me, the level of I look at last year and the run we were on, right, but this is a step up again. This is the Champions League. So maybe people think Rangers have set the bar, we're getting a right good run and we should be able to get into the Champions League. Maybe they look at it that way. But sometimes you've got to look at what's in front of you. And they were a good team, GB. I never left Ibrox angry at all. I thought, well, we've got a tougher job today. It's still there, but it's still wee bit of Robbie Green, pardon the pun, and bells there singing their hearts out. Maybe get a wee referee decision. Anything could happen, you know. So the tie's still wide open. But as far as expectation goes, I try and keep my feet in the ground with it. I don't think we're going to get another run the way we... When's the next time we'll beat a German outfit in Germany?
Oh, I mean...
You know, so...
At that level, Stevie, as well, that's the thing. I mean, Dortmund are I mean, we're talking about Champions League teams. Dortmund are a Champions League finalist team. You mean semi-finalist? So...
Villarreal, we played them a few times and I think we got a few draws with them, didn't we? So Benfica, the same. Listen, guys, we're getting a good European pedigree back again. We're getting our self-respect back again in Europe. Everybody's talking about the Rangers. Put it this way, GB, when the ending's getting drawn out now, whether we get into the Champions League or Europa, they'll be able to sit and gone, he's Glasgow Rangers. Put it that way. And that tells you that tells you everything about where we've came in such a short time. And Matt, the level of expectation for me is, no, I don't know when we'll see another European run like that again. But can we conquer PSV? I think we can.
I think the non-negotiables, Stevie, is that we have a decent European run, whether that is getting into the likes of the Champions League group stages, or we drop into the Europa League and we run that as long as possible. That's just me personally. And then the non-negotiable is that we challenge always for the league and we hopefully walk away with at least one of the cups each season, because we're a big enough squad. We've got big enough talent compared to the rest of the league. And I think that's kind of my expectations. That's the non-negotiables for me.
Listen, we all want to beat the big party, don't we? We all want to be there, right? We get that. But let's be honest, for the money that we create off telly revenue and stuff here in Scotland, we can't compete with some of these countries. There's no way in the world we can compete with some of them. They're going out and buying £50 million players coming off the bench and stuff like that. That's your whole team, you know. Look, the Europa's we're probably more a Europa team and we're a Champions League team at the minute because of the financial distance between clubs like PSG, Madrid, you name it, Juventus, all these kind of big guys. No, we're never going to compete with them. When are we ever going to go and spend 80 or 90 million pounds on a player? We've not got that kind of clout. We are punching above our weight and more games than most, no matter what group we get into. You'll look at the group and no matter what foreign team it is, you're the Dutch, I don't know. I mean, what was PSV's team? What they spend this week? I know they got the young boy for PSG, and they got
Veerman that we were in for, and he was a £10 million player there. And you're right, Steve. I mean, PSV probably season after season. I mean, the Dutch league, you're looking at minimum they get offered 2 Champions League places, 1 automatic, and then 1 possible disqualifier. Some seasons are getting 2 into the automatics. So, I mean, like say the PSV and Ajax, they're looking at it guaranteed 20 million most seasons, and it's trying to catch up with that kind of money, Stevie. I mean, this is how it is important. If we did it next week, that kind of money that we draw in from it will propel us. I think Robertson mentioned that in one of his interviews that he says it just speeds things up. So it means the facilities get better quicker, we get better players quicker, etc., etc. But obviously they're still striving. But again, our league causes limitations for us, doesn't it?
Aye. Well, there's a Union St Gallen. Was it no £5 million we got for getting in to play PSV? I mean,
Correct.
That's what you get for winning the league in the Scottish Cup. I rest my case. How can we compete if we don't get into these rounds? How can we compete with these clubs? You know, it's amazing what we've done, and we just need to be realistic where we are and what leagues we play in and what kind of money we get to buy players and stuff like that. I mean, we've been doing great with Big Bassy and guys like that getting top money for Aribo. £10 million for Joe Aribo was still a great considering what we paid for the boy, you know. Could we have get more? Possibly, but he had that trigger thing in his clause in his contract. So, but, mate, look, I'm a bear. I want to see Rangers winning everything they enter, but you've got to be realistic. Will we win the Champions League? Definitely no. It would just be great to be part of the party, wouldn't it? It would just be great to be there, wouldn't it?
Just to have the wee hat on. Just to have the wee party hat on.
Aye. Memories with your boy, you know. Memories with your boy. See great players coming to Ibrox. That's the realistic side of it for me. You know, are we ever going to win the Champions League? No way teams spending £200,000 a week. Some of these players are getting, man. More than that, some of them are on astronomical money. We've just got to be realistic, and I'm delighted to see guys for Real Madrid coming to Ibrox and playing and under the lights and the fans, and amazing. And Ibrox, you're expecting to beat them, you know what I mean? And a bit of luck, who knows? But look, we're Rangers. We'll just take things how they come, a game at a time. And for me, if we can beat PSV, what a feat that is to get into that Champions League. You know, unfortunately for us, we done all the hard work to get the Monkey Mob in. But anyway,
that's another night, isn't it? Well, it's a phone-in show, and we've got a couple of debates on. We've got the Tavernier, is he the best Rangers right back ever? And we've also thrown up a question there that what is the Bears' expectations out there? It would be good to hear different points of view on it, whether that we, as a Bears out there, that do expect us to be in the Champions League no matter what, that the board should be spending the money to get us there every season, or is it this kind of same scenario that we're talking about? Is it just going to be as best we can and focus on trying to win leagues? Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Steve, the other night, again, not harping about the PSV, but it was good to see two teams play a game of football. I've watched, obviously, as in the Europa League and stuff like that, and it can be a bit cagey at times, considering, obviously, you're trying to keep pushing through the rounds. But the other night there, it was two teams wanting to play a game of football, and it was a joy to watch some of the displays on show, especially for our team and for PSV, because some of their passing movement was sublime.
Absolutely. I mean, for the low block to that, a game of football, two teams gone for it. And as you said, in spells we were great. I mean, that goal we got, the football, 11 passes all the way across, we were good in spells, and then there was times we were getting the ball away too cheaply, no finding our men, just the simple things. But these things happen under pressure a wee bit and stuff like that. But for the opposition to come to Ibrox and actually come out and play a bit of football, it was great to see. And that's how I wasn't so angry. When you see the level of opposition you're playing and the way they played, in the second half they stepped it up a gear and they were looking more lightly at times, you know. But fair play to the Rangers. They dug their heels in, rolled their sleeves up, and I know some of them weren't at their best, they could do better. But it was a good game of football. And there's nobody, we can hold our heads held high. There's nobody could slag the Rangers for that performance. They done all right against a good quality opposition. You're totally right there.
What I say is, what pleases me most is that we actually went out there and gave a top quality side a game. We didn't make it easy for them. I think that's always the annoying thing at some of the games, is that even in the Europa League final there, we felt as though we probably didn't give our best performance against a team that we could have probably took. And at the other night there, I felt as though we gave the best that we could against PSV, and like I say, possibly a wee bit more with players probably improving for next weekend. Next Tuesday. I think we've been joined by a call. Hey, is all Davey? Davey, you there?
I hope so.
Oh, welcome. How are we getting on?
Not bad. How are you, Stevie? How are you?
Brand new, Davey. Yourself?
Yes. Your comment. I'm listening to your comments. You're spot on. You too, JB. Very good. Regarding, I know we're talking about the best fullback, and I'm a bit concerned about Saturday about how this is going to get in about us, because they only turn up against us, and if we get any kind of, I was going to ask you, what kind of team do you think you'll put out regarding the European game ahead?
Stevie, I could take that one, mate.
Aye, for me, Davey, the kind of team he'll put out. Well, let's be honest. No matter what team he puts out, we should be capable of beating Hibs. Would you agree there, first and foremost?
Yeah, but I'm meaning not so much beating them. I'm just talking about what's the best way to try and avoid. I know you can't avoid injury. It doesn't matter who you play and when you play them. I know you're talking about playing the best team, but I think there's a point where you go to sort of take that game into account and say, well, for an instance, what I'm saying is, if you start with Morelos and keep Kolak back and see how the game goes, and give him a bit of time, because I think the first thing they'll go is to, especially that Porter. He's an animal. Yeah.
Aye, big Portis. Aye, that boy's just a big firmer, isn't he? He kicks it and it breathes. That's if he's no flinging things in people's graves and all the rest of it. But listen, the bottom line for me, Davey, is you're maybe talking about him having one eye on the game against PSV Eindhoven, I think. Now, their danger man is a wee guy to sign back again, the wee winger. Would you call him? Oh, his name's escaped me. JB. What do you call the wee winger they've just signed back again? Fast as heck.
Is this Boyle?
Boyle, aye. See if Rangers whoever's Borner should just put him up in Rose Ed right away. First tackle. That would be my tactics. And he's going to be their danger man. Make no bones about it. He's going to be their danger man. And Big Portis is going to be a danger man, because all they're going to do is lump high balls into our boxes. As soon as they get a corner, he'll be up. Big Porteous. Look, there's ways. I'm not going to tell. I'm not a manager, but I think Gio stick. There'll not be a lot of changes, David. I don't think there'll be a lot of changes, but I think he's going to be your danger man, Martin Boyle, and Big Porteous. What he can't handle speed. So you're looking at Ken to maybe run at him. You're looking at maybe if he's got to give Matondo a run, because he never got a run the other night, maybe bring him on, or even Scott Wright. If they run at him with pace, they'll get change at him, because he's just hit the ball by him and run, and he'll bring them down. You know what you're getting with, but you know what you're going to get with that Big Port is he's just out to break legs. So there's a couple of ways you deal with that. You make sure he's in the game and break his legs, or you make him you get him sent off. You tell him, you whisper stuff in his ear and give him a hard time with it. And
is that the drum chapel bit and you coming out there about breakness?
Aye.
You better say that or I get barbs.
Davey, you touched on a point there about our current striker, Cholak. The form he's in, is it not being a kind of trait of the past that you keep your own form striker on the part and keep him scoring? What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. You want to put your best team out to win every game. That's the certainty. But regarding the financial situation of what we need for Tuesday, that's just it's just something different. Likes of when we're talking about the game on Tuesday, I made a comment last night about substitutions, which I thought we got wrong. Instead of being 2-1 up, we should have just shut shop up rather than try and play with two wingers. Well, that's what I'm meaning about the Edinburgh game. It's just, get the win, but just, be able to get your subs right as well with a Tuesday game in mind.
Davey, can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Big Cholak, right? I would play him, right? He gets his goal. Maybe play him in the first half. Then give him depending on how the game's gone. I would love to see Sakala getting a run.
I agree.
A fair crack. And I've said this to a few of the Bells. Sakala's pace, I know sometimes people will say that he's not really got an end product and he runs about like English Ching, but that Sakala running at that big boy Porteous, maybe after 60, 70 minutes of Cholak giving him a hard time, I think Sakala will get changed out to any team. What a game he had at Parkhead last season, at the end of last season. Got the goal, hit the post. He gave them a torrid time at their defenders. And I'll tell you now, he'll do the same against Hibs. So I don't think Morelos is fit. I really don't. I just think there's something no right with Morelos. And that's how he's no. I mean, see when he scored his goal against, was it St Johnson? He just fell to the ground. You could see he was breathing through his butt. And the bottom line for me is, I would honestly put Cholak on. He's the form of his life. And I would probably look at Sakala. I really would give Sakala a wee chance and see how it goes for her. But that's just me. One opinion, Davey. One opinion.
Davey, what kind of changes are you wanting to see, mate? Are you wanting to see like Tav rested, Golson rested, or are you just want to keep that kind of solid?
Well, I'm concerned more about how we are defending at the moment. I mean, we've talked about this, we've talked about that, and we've done it all last season as well. Everybody's hearts in their mouth when anybody gets a corner against us or a crossbar, and we're not getting it sorted, and that puzzles me. I know he's got to pick and choose who he's got to play, but it needs to be addressed as far as I'm concerned. We're not going to get anywhere.
Stevie, I think the manager the other night there touched on it, that he is obviously going to look at it. I think we've been trying to bed in Ben Davies as best we can. And it wouldn't surprise me come the weekend that Ben Davies gets his start.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. Sorry, guys, I've got a frog in my throat. The Ben Davies, he's a left-footed player, and we thought, right, he's going to be the end to that problem. We've given everybody a chance in there and it's no worked. And it's just getting Ben Davies up to fitness. He's got to get matched. I believe Rangers played a bounce game yet. Was it yesterday? To try and get some of these players up to speed. But I'm looking for Ben Davies. You're not paying that kind of money for a guy to come and no get a game. Hollander, how far down the line is Philip Hollander? He's another guy. I just don't think we've quite got it right here yet. With us left side of the centre and defence, I just don't think we've got it right yet. And the boy Sands is doing his best. The boy Sands, he's probably getting a wee bit of a whipping off of some of the Bears, but the boy Sands is fast on the ground. He's not the greatest header in the air in the world, but he's fast on the ground. And I just think Zono Martin is no for us. Definitely no for us. If that's the way they're going about it with Zono Martin, it's no working for us. As I said, the team puts in high balls into our box. They'll get change out our defence. We haven't got a big commanding centre half. Golson's not even that big commanding centre half. And I'm going to be honest there.
And we're still to see our big boy shooter as well, and properly in the flesh as well. Steve, I'll just cut across for 2 minutes, mate. I think we've been joined by Alex. Alex, you there, mate?
Good evening, Gary, Stevie, and Davey as well.
Hey, Alex.
Good evening, buddy. What's on your mind, buddy?
What are you two all about tonight? We've got a couple of shock jocks on here, a pair of bangers, I don't know. About our Tavernier, the best right back ever.
You should see this studio, Alex. We're swinging in the seats and everything. We've got Babe Station on and all the rest of it. It's a fantastic night so far. And we've got Stevie sitting with the fishing rod out, just waiting for the fish to come in. So
he's caught a whopper tonight then with me. And my pal Andy from Leeds is on a flight now to Lanzarote. He's obviously not getting a chance to hear the night, but he'll probably listen back. It's the same as our Robert's away in Croatia with his good lady doing a cruise, but he'll be listening with interest as well. I apologise to Robert and I apologise to Mr. Fox because I know Tav's their favourite. I'm no one here to bash Tav, but come on, you can't be serious. Tavernier, who best right back ever.
So who's yours?
Mine, I tell you last night, Linda asked me the question. For me, Gary Stevens is the best one I've seen, Stevie. But my dad and Andy and all them, I'll swear by. And even Robert says Sandy Jardine, easily the best right back we've ever had. And you can all do stats and no bother. He's a great servant to the club. But come on, who did he play with before he came to us? Look at the list of clubs that he was at. I think he was at Newcastle as a boy and he got punted. He then went to like Doncaster and Swindon and then Wigan. We're the biggest and best club that James Henry Tavernier has ever played for. That's the reason why he stayed at our club. He's getting well paid. He's a captain of our club. And he's enjoying his football. Why would he want to go? And there's another reason why he didn't go, because nobody's come in for him. Because he's obviously still got deficiencies in his defence, the same as Golson, as nobody's come in for. And we're seeing that at the higher levels we get up. Yeah. I'm not blaming Tavernier last night. You heard me last night. If you listened to the show, I thought Connor Golson was abysmal. And he's been abysmal for the start of the season. We should have got rid of him when we had the opportunity. That's why we bought Suter. And now we know why we wanted rid of him in the first place. The guy's a bomb scare in our defence now, and he's causing all sorts of problems.
Alec, can I just cut in there? After what you were saying about Connor Golson, when I was turning in last night, I woke up this morning with a guilty complex. I thought I'd maybe slagged him a bit too much. You come on the show, it's a marvellous show. You put your point and everybody gets on and says their thing, and that's what counts. But when you're talking about the greatest, you could go through stacks of names there. Different eras, different from all these years. It's everybody's got their own opinion, but they're all great. Yes. They were all great fullbacks.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alex, I was going to say, got to go round with the question about Tav. We're obviously looking at Tav the way Rangers are as a club just now. I mean, you're saying great names there at right backs and stuff like that, and then probably these guys were playing at better times. But if you look at Tav and what he's had to deal with, Stevie, I'll let you come in since you've obviously touched on this point. He's had to deal with a lot, and it's not as if the club's still building. You know what I mean? We're still trying to push forward. So that's why I think we're flinging up the debate about, is he the greatest under the restraints he's got, Stevie?
Right. Can I give you a breaking bit of news before I go into that? Rangers ladies are winning 2-0 against Ferencváros away. So well done, the lassies. Now, getting back onto this, Alex was talking about, Tav was at this club.
Is that a penalty with Tav in here, Stevie? Is that a penalty with Tav?
Who did Sandy Jardine before he came to Rangers?
What was that, pal?
Right. I'm saying, you're talking about Tav played for Wigan and he played for Newcastle and he played for this one and that one. Who did Sandy Jardine play for before he came to Rangers, Ali?
I'm not sure, it wasn't in my era. Was it Hearts or something? He was an Edinburgh boy, wasn't he?
Aye, but they all came. I'm sure he played with Kelty Hearts at one point and then he went up as there. I'm not too sure. I might be wrong.
He was only a boy though, wasn't he? He was only like 18, 19.
Aye, but I take it for lower clubs, Ali, into the bigger clubs. Yeah, that's how they get it, you know. Right. So you need to have a credit. The boys came for, he joined us at probably the worst time in our history. and he stuck by us. He showed loyalty. His stats for right back are absolutely amazing. I know back in the day we never went with stats, but things have moved on for then, Alec. If you put Sandy Jardin's stats and Gary Stevens' stats next to Tav's stats, would they be? Was Gary Stevens in the European final? Was he the top goal scorer in the Europa League?
Yeah. He won a Cup Winners' Cup with Everton. He won a Cup Winners' Cup with Everton before he came to us, and he won the English First Division then. Everton.
So put him in par with Tav, couldn't you? You could put him in par. They've both been to a European final. How many trophies did Sandy Jardin win the Rangers? You know, Tav's won a few. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think he was in team of the World Cup 74 Germany.
Listen, there's points to be argued. That's why we brought it up, Alec. You're talking about Gary Stevens as well. I watched Gary Stevens. I watched all that right through the Souness era. For Greg through to Souness, for Souness right to Smith, right through. I watched all that. Aye, and we had some fantastic right backs, but I just think you don't know what you've got till you've lost it. I can see your point on his defending, but you've got to take your hat off the amount of games the guy's played for us, the goals and assists that he's got. Man, I wouldn't like to see your team without him, put it that way. But the argument's there.
Stevie, you as old as that, seeing Greg.
Well, there you go, mate. Well, I'll let you. I'll give you a wee hint. I'm 50 next year. There you go. So he's probably thought I was younger than that because I wear a baseball cap. Well, I'm 50. So, I don't act like it. I know I do. I'm jumping the wall and running about. You know that carry on. I get carried away. But listen, guys, I've seen a few great Rangers teams coming right through. You know, but I've got to take my hat off to Tav, the man off the park. Absolutely fantastic, total gentleman. The way he lives away for the game, doesn't drink, and he's playing on the part, man. His stats, he's a pure. Look, put it this way: any of your right backs you think were fitter than Tav? Because I think he's an animal. Tav's a pure animal, man. He's a machine. And by the way, we've got another 4 or 5 year out of Tav. I know he's 29, 30, something like that. I think Tav could probably play at least 35 for us because he's fit as a fiddle. He's an ever-present.
Did you ever see Kai Johansson?
No, I've been up to Kai Johansson a few times. It's a void.
He was some fullback. I'll tell you, he was some fullback.
My dad told me about him.
Yeah.
That was correct, my dad.
David, I'll come at you with your point there. Like Tav, you're talking about how much. I mean, if Tav wasn't in our team, how much would it cost to get a guy in right back and score the amount of goals he's scored and the amount of free kicks he's scored, the amount of appearances he keeps making week in, week out? And I'll take it Rooney Alex as well. I mean, if there's better out there, then how much would it actually cost to replace a guy like that now? In this climate, and this is how we throw out the debate. Expectations and limitations. The league only gives us so much to manoeuvre with, and this is technically we've got a gem in Tav because of the financial restraints in our league. Davey?
Aye, in a sense, yeah. It's a bit of a hypothetical, sort of, it's not actually happening. So I don't know why. It's just something that's hypothetical that could happen. But he's very isn't I'm nobody in any Rangers supporter anywhere could not complain about that, man. He's done what he needs to do. He's a great player. He wasn't great. He came through the hard times to where he is. But to replace him, it's a bit, it's hypothetical.
Alex, mate?
Listen, I'm not here to tab bash. You guys have stuck up a topic that's just for debate. We're talking about it. Tavernier stats and everything's there to be read, and be seen. He's definitely improved he came into the club, particularly in the last 2-3 years under Gio and Gerrard. under Kashinya. Tav was also part of that setup, guys, that you're also giving him praise for, where we were getting beat 5-1 and that was Celtic and we were getting ripped to bits, you know. But it's not just Tav's fault. He was getting exposed left, right and centre because we had a poorer team. But we've got a far better team. And Tav's obviously, you know, blooming on that. His goal input. He's again, he set up Kovac the other night with a brilliant through ball with Davis to fun him. And he puts it on a plate for Kovac, who dispatches it. That's the great side of Tav that we all love. But he's got an indiscipline, and you can't deny it. He leaves it wide open behind him, and it's up to other players then to kind of cover him. And I think Golson's getting pulled out of position to cover him, and John Lundstrom's also getting pulled out of position. But that's the kind of downside of Tav, you know. To get all the stats and goal returns out of him, he's got to be up the park, so we've got to be disciplined enough to see the danger behind him. Candace was great at covering him for a couple of years. We missed him badly, and then Ryan Jack came into that position, which allowed him to progress. For they've kind of dipped out the team, some things were getting caught out there. But listen, it can't be denied. 250,000, I think it was, we got Tav for Wigan. He's been a magnificent buy. I'm not here to slag Tav. I'm just here to put my point across the same as you guys. It's all about opinions, and that's what this show's all about.
Can I say something now?
100%. I only go Stevie, sorry, mate.
I'm just going to say to Alec, he is right. He's got that a number. I mean, there even the other night, he was left for dead a couple of times. We get it. But we know what kind of player he is. He's an attacking fullback. That's his game, you know, pushing up the park. And you're right, he's probably left Big Golson with a few sore heads and other players as well, Alec. I can't argue with that. You're totally right. But overall, as a right back, his stats and what he does for our team, what he brings to our club, he'll take me all too long. Oh, man.
Alex, the debate, the conundrum for Gio is, isn't it, that he's trying to get the best out of each player. Like, he's trying to use all their talents, and obviously each player's limited in certain areas. I mean, you look at Sands been put in there to do a job. He's a utility player, but he's not a born left back, centre back. Golson again, no. He's a strong defender, but Gio's using him in there because he's the best that we've got. He's the most experienced defender. He turns up every week. And then we've touched on obviously Tav. I mean, Tav's stats speak for themselves, but again, he's got to try and use as much as he can out of all these players and hopefully put together a team that's going to take him to the places that he wants to. And that's the problem for Gio, isn't it?
Yep, no, definitely. Listen, cast your mind back to when Gio first came in. You know, the first half dozen games, what did Gio do? He basically, you know, stopped Tavernier and Bournemouth going forward because he was concerned about the amount of, well, straight off the back of the Hibs League Cup semi-defeat, they ripped us apart in defence. So he changed that, but what he done is, he quelled the forward play that Tavernier and Barisic were bringing to the team. So we actually, you know, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot, so to speak, because we didn't have that kind of forward element going forward. You know, and I think the players actually had to have a sit down with Gio to say, listen, we're not happy with these tactics, we're not scoring enough goals. And that kind of cost us at the end of the day because we weren't scoring enough goals. So he took the shackles off of Tavernier and Bournemouth. And all I said, we started seeing some great performances out again. We can't go out there and hoard at nothing each. That's just not in our style. We don't have the players to do that. Years ago with Butcher and Gary Stevens and Richard Gough and, you know, that sort of defence, even Stuart Monroe, Graham Souness could do that and nothing each, or a Walter and nothing each. We don't have the personnel to do that. So you're right, you've got to play the strengths of the players that you've got in your squad. Tavernier is a forward thinking fullback. He's basically, you know, a right half or whatever you call it, but we need to be more disciplined in behind him. And, you know, cover him going forward. But listen, Tav's stats are incredible for what we got. So, well done, Tav, and a well-deserved contract.
Yeah.
Davey, are you pleased about how he's able to get he has shown that he's getting the best he can out of each individual player, as it's proven the new young Sands. I mean, that game against Aberdeen, I thought he was going to get sent back home, but Gio's managed to get him playing. He's managed to get him as a utility player, and to be fair, the boy has done a job for us. I mean, he was playing against PSV in the Champions League the other night there. The boy's probably in dreamland.
Yeah. Well, I think if there's one thing that's impressed me more about Tavernier, and I was quite concerned about it at the time, was he wasn't what I would have said was a Rangers captain, because he wasn't getting right on top of him, giving him a shouting, getting at him. You see more with different players who, no, Golson maybe there, but you've got Jack. You see the difference with Jack when he's playing, but he's come out of that shell. He's got his cell now. You can see him turning around and gaining it, which he didn't do that for quite a few seasons. So that's just a process of him improving where he is what his responsibility is. And you can't knock any of them. We're all blue noses. We're all bears.
Stevie? You still there, Stevie?
He's away for lodging.
You're in a bridge, man. You're in a bridge, man. By the way, I don't think that's a frog in his throat. That's a Tavernier in his throat.
He's probably shocked that I'm saying that Gio was getting the best out of certain players. No, I mean, the manager is doing the best. He's got his resources and stuff like that. The board are trying their best to get us to this next level, and the ceiling keeps getting pushed. Especially, like I say, the other night there, we went out and gave a team a proper game of football, and if it wasn't just for a couple of slack moments, I mean, I think we would have been gone there with a right decent result. And again, it's all to play for, and it keeps the excitement going. And at the end of the day, see if it doesn't happen next week, we go into the Europa League, and to be honest, we've performed very, very well in that competition. And I think Southside touched on it a lot. It's just extra gravy. And the main thing is that our expectations, I think we've touched on, is we challenge for the league, we try and get some cups, and we keep going in Europe as long as possible. That's the kind of, I think, the main Rangers man's expectations. Alex?
Well, for me, pal, with domestic treble, I think you look to win that right away, and I see Europe as a bonus. That's the way I see it. I know you see it. Cups are a bonus, and Europe's all about money and finance. We had this out with Stevie in that last week. It's all about opinions, but for me, I'm wanting trophies. I mentioned the start last week. Celtic have won 14 out of the last 18 trophies. I think it's about time we need to break that cycle. I know we've won the league and we've won the Scottish Cup, but we've got a team capable of winning a treble now. That Ange Postecoglou's come in there and done a total rebuild within a year and walked away with a double. We've only won 2 trophies now out of the last 7 years, and for me, that's not good enough for our club.
Good point, mate. Right, lads, if you can get yourselves on mute, we're going to have a tune, and it's been requested by a frequent listener called John Daly, who is a rabid fan from across the city. So this one's for you, John.
As I was walking down the Coleman Road, I met a bunch of strangers. They said to me, are you going to see the famous Glasgow Rangers? So I took them up to Ibrox Park
why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, John, I hope you enjoyed that out there, mate. I hope you enjoyed that tune. We're all back. We're all back, lads.
Yes, definitely.
Do you think he was singing along to it, Gary?
I think the toes were tapping, Alex. The toes were tapping. We were talking. We actually got started on Gio a wee bit there, and I was talking to a wise man this afternoon, and he was
Welcome to the EE voicemail. Oh. I'm sorry, but the person you've called is not available. Please.
And he was questioning about the tactics, the modern manager, how they all seem to kind of follow the latest trend. Is Gio maybe a bit of a victim of that he's kind of following the trends of, like, say, a Pep and a Klopp? He's his own man, but if you look about the Premier League, you start to see a lot of the same kind of teams doing the exact same thing. And it would be good maybe sometimes for Gio just to, I don't know, think outside the box sometimes, especially that the other night there with the substitutions tactically. I think, Davey, I'll go to you because you touched on it about you wanted them to make the substitutions around about the 70-minute mark.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it last night, and what I was trying to point out was when we went 2-1 up, I felt we just didn't bring the right player. I mean, Kamara come on. I just thought we should have shot the shot up a wee bit instead of the bit of the back because we were.
Welcome to the EE voicemail.
Okay. We were getting hard press. They were pressing us and we couldn't get out. So I don't see the point of when they brought on Wright and Kamara. The first thing the two of them did was give the ball away. I thought we should have had Jack in there to stop the midfield coming through. But that's a manager's choice. I mean, we've got to remember what the hardest thing I think our problem is you go for St Johnstone to play a team like that. That's some difference in a level of football. And it's very difficult to cope with that.
Especially a team that wants to play a game of football as well, Davey. Stevie, Gio, is he a victim of following the latest trends and not maybe focusing on, like, say, the stuff he's up against in our Scottish League and maybe, like I say, Europe as well?
Let's be honest. I mean, the managers down the road, they're not playing the part of the bus. They're not playing against the low block every week. Gio's tactics are just, at Ibrox, your tactics is just go out and get the victory, you know what I mean, and break that low block down. So I don't think you can really set a trend when it comes to different types of football up here, teams don't come to Ibrox to beat us, they just come to stop us, they just come to try and see if they can get the point, by stopping us playing and kicking us off apart. I mean, it's no football, it's anti-football up here. But that's just the nature of the beast. They'll say, look at the money Rangers have got compared to the money we've got to spend. So that's why we do that. But it's no, Motherwell's in the past didn't do that at Ibrox. They try to come out and play a game of football. It's just a relatively new thing, this part of the bus, the low block. But as far as trends go and setting, Gio's just a young manager himself. I know he's done a bit with Feyenoord and everything else, but I think he'll have his own style depending on the team that he's got in front of him. If he had players like Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man City, these big teams, if he had the players that they've got, he'd probably play different. His tactics would be probably different with better players, but as far as his Rangers career's gone, I think he's starting to get a grip with it. Sometimes I leave games scratching my head thinking, why? I can't remember where we were. There was one game where we were all screaming for a substitution and he never done it. There was a wee couple of runs of games where he never put substitutes on and we thought, man, there's guys out in that park breathing, and they're not, they should be took off the park. And he never done it. But I think he's got to grips with something now. I think he learns off mistakes, Gio, to be honest. That's how I would sum him up. He learns off mistakes,
Aye, I've noticed that as well, Stevie, that he has picked up on certain things that he made mistakes in last season. But I think we've been joined with another caller. I think we've got our one and only Alex from Wishaw. Alex, you there?
Good evening, GB, Stevie, my friend Alec Kelly and Davey. How you all doing?
We're good to hear you.
That's the sensible Alec in then.
A bit of sense. Right.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
Alec,
going about
yours, mate.
Well, going about the game on Tuesday. It was a real interesting game. It was a good game to watch. It was good to watch two teams going for it.
Yeah.
I say a fortnight before it, when we played the Belgians, how concerned I was about the defence. It's not just about the cross balls, it's trying to stop the balls from coming over. That's the first thing. And when the day come over, we've got no commanding defenders there to clear their lines. And what's happened is we've signed crop players, and that's exactly where we're at the moment. No disrespect to the boy Sands, I said before, and he had quite a good game, but he's certainly not a centre-half, right? Ben Davis played there against Kilmarnock, and we all thought he was ready to get into the game on Tuesday night. I don't know if he failed the fitness test or what. I know this is a long shot. The only other player we've got then is young Liam King. He's the most natural left-sided centre-half, and that's maybe what we're going to have to do. I said before the tie, the 50-50 tie. I'm changing my mind now, basically, because of the equalising goal they scored, because we're going to be up against it over there. And that's me. My heart tells me I want Rangers to win, but my head is telling me we're in for a right heavy night.
Aye, Alex. Alex Kelly, Leon King, is the boy ready for that level yet, though?
Well, that's a tough one. You wouldn't like to throw the boy in, unless he is ready. But there's certainly there've been boys thrown into big games, and the older listener out there will remember Big DJ getting thrown into games, and Derek Parlane and that. They've got to prove to the coach that they're ready. I don't know. I mean, it's a big game to throw him into, and I think you'll agree with that. I actually thought Sands was okay the other night. He was certainly better than Golson, but his two games against USG weren't too clever. I would be pinning my jacket on Ben Davis making it. I think he's a must to come into that left-hand side of the centre-half, and I think Ryan Jack is a must to come into the midfield as well. They two players allow others to play better round about them, plus solidify. We look more balanced with Ben Davis in the team, and I think Ryan Jack offers a lot more stability in the midfield as well.
Stevie, you've watched a lot of the youth football. What about Leon King? Is the boy showed enough that he can get in these big matches yet, or is it still that we've got to kind of bed him in and no hurt him too much?
It's no ideal flinging any young boy into the lines then, is it? But where was it? Where wee goalie played against Celtic, wee McCrory, he got flung in against Celtic, mind, and it was a great game. If they're in the pool, if Gio selected them into the pool in certain games, then it must be good enough. It's as plain and simple as that. It must be good enough for him to be there. So if I were really struggling, if the boy Sands had an injury, I would certainly play the boy King. I would definitely play him. If Sands was injured, I would go, because I don't think Ben Davis is fit at all. I think the speed of our games could have caught that boy out, and that happens not just to him. That happens with quite a lot of boys that come up for England. Our game up here is just smash and grab and rough and tumble, and go for it. And I think some of the boys get caught out with that. So if it was left to me on Tuesday night, the boy Sands is my pick for Tuesday night. I wouldn't like to fling Liam King in there in case things went pear-shaped. But if the boy Sands was injured, I would certainly play Liam King. He's not in the pool for nothing. He's not there for nothing. They must see something in him. No, he's training with the Rangers. the big team. You know what I mean? It's not as if he's playing with youth and he's not getting a chance or whatever. I would definitely play him. I think the boy, you never know, it might have become his life. It might just be what the boy needs, you know. They've got a lot of big guys up there, and I don't know who it was. I think it was Alec Kelly said that we are Alec Fawishaw. We'll be in for a rough time with these boys flinging balls into our box. We've got nobody commanding, absolutely nobody commanding. And see if I had a gripe about just looking at the Rangers team overall, there's no iron in it. There's no iron in our team at all. None. They're all nice guys, good football players and whatever. There's nobody there. There's nobody there that a manager could say, see him, put him up in Rose Head and it'll happen. Put it that way. I don't think it would happen, put it that way.
Especially on defence. Especially on defence, Stevie. Davey, Leon King, has he showed you traits that he can push his way into this team now that we're kind of ravaged with injuries in that left-sided bit of the park?
Oh, you've got to look at him. That's why he's in the squad. If you've not got, as the boys were saying there, he shouldn't be in the squad if he's not capable of doing it, and you'll never know if you don't play him. I mean, one thing I think it was Stevie said there about Derek Johnson, Derek Paulina, seeing the both of them making their debuts. And they ended up, they were outstanding. So if you're struggling to fit that position, you've got to take the chance that it's going to work. Well, I wouldn't need no for Tuesday, but no. I'll stick. If Sands and then the big Coulson's fit and make them through Saturday, you've got to start with it too, unless something else happens with some of the fitness. We can't chop and change too quick with that market coming up. They're good.
Aye.
Gary.
Aye, on you go, Alex.
Can I just ask you, going back and Big Stevie's point there, but we're no stealing the team. I think we're better than we were before, but was that no why Suter was brought in to give that bit of grit and, you know, that bit of steel in the defence? Can you see Suter coming in and play a back three defenders and, you know, with the two wing backs? Is that a possibility, do you think?
I'll take it round, Stevie, would you think, mate?
Ibrox, I think we should be playing with three at the back all the time and just gone for it. So it could be a possibility. But as far as Suter goes and being a man of steel, you've got to go on the party to do that. And we've not seen much of the boy. I know the boy lost his brother there. His family, he's got family stuff. But we need players to be playing every week, like Tav, like Golson. Guys like that, they're never out that team. And that's what we need. And if Suter's got a bit of guile about him, then I want to see it, because we've not got a lot of it in that team, Alec. We definitely know. I just thought that PSV team was a big physical team, and I don't get me wrong, they didn't bully us in any shape or form. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying. But if you can imagine Matondo coming on, he would have been slightly pushed off the ball easy, I think, with the big defenders. So maybe that's how guys like him never got on. But I just think we've nobody there that would grab somebody and punch somebody, you know, and set about them, you know what I mean? And you're looking for a bit of iron in it. We've just no got it. We've no got that at all.
100%.
Lundstrom, possibly. Ryan Jack.
Aye. You would have them in, boys, wouldn't you? Give me just 2 minutes, boys. I think we've got a new caller in. And can you do us a wee favour, Steve, when we're not talking? Can we go on mute? It's just the guys in the technical team are hearing a lot of background noise. I think we'll be joined with Tommy. Tommy, are you there?
I'm here, aye. I'm just listening to you.
Aye, no, thanks for waiting, mate. How are you tonight, mate? What's your thoughts?
Aye, all right. I just you were talking about the game, obviously. You know, I mean, I agree with what they were saying there. We get muscled out. I think we did there. They were a big physical team, so they were.
Aye, and did you pick out anything that we can improve on for next Tuesday, buddy?
I think it's going to be tough, to be fair. You know what I mean? I really don't. I hope we do, but I just don't think we will. I can't see it. But a one-half game, he's done it before. You know what I mean? We've done it when I would have said, we all said Dortmund would have beat us, you know what I mean? So we're beat harder teams, but I just don't fancy our chances. You know what the team it is now? See with the left centre back. It's a shame for Sands. The boy doesn't play there, and he's not a left footer. I don't think we should have got rid of Balogun. I think Big Balogun would have been ideal for in there, so we would have.
Aye, no, good point. I'll take the Balogun point round, everybody, because I've not had the chance to talk to Stevie about that. Stevie, Balogun, should he have been getting a contract extension at the time? Because unfortunately, I don't think he'll be coming back now. But at the time, it's probably kind of backfired. There's no re-signing him for at least a year's deal.
I'm going to contradict myself a wee bit here. I'm going to turn around and say no, because we need players that can play every week. And Big Balogun would have given you 1 and 3. He could only play 1 and 3 games, right? Now, when we go to Eindhoven here, he would have been ideal, wouldn't he? He would have been ideal to fling in there in a 1.5 game, Big Balogun, because the big guy gave us his all. Let's be honest. The big man went on the park and gave his all. I remember when the wee Japanese boy was coming to Ibrox, he was going to run amok. The big one didn't let him out his back pocket up the full game, you know. And look, we've got to be realistic. Rangers let Balogun go for a reason. The big man could only play maybe 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 games for us, you know. And but it would have been a good start. And as I said, I was going to contradict myself a wee bit, but it would have been good to have him for gone here. A good big at the ball, and he laid his body in the line for us, you know, a few times. And he scored a few key goals as well. So, no, I don't know. It's a catch-22. Well, fair play to the big boy. He was up in the stand there supporting the Rangers, so he's definitely in love with the club, you know. And it's a pity he's not been hoovered up with somebody, because he has a good big stand-in, you know what I mean? But that's all it would be for me, guys. It would just be a stand-in, because you wouldn't get a constant stream of games out of him. Definitely no.
Mm-hmm. Alex, fair wish you, mate. Balogun, what was your thoughts on that kind of situation at the time?
Well, hindsight's proved it now, innit? I agree with Stevie, this should have been the ideal game for him, but straight enough, he was playing 1 out of 3. The problem we've got, it's not the scenario I'm talking about, Lee and King. We've left ourselves wide open here with the defensive at the left-hand side. We're all hoping for Ben Davies to walk into that team there, and he's not made it. And if that's what we'll go with Sands and Goldstein, the people then can't come on and then start blaming the defence, because it's a makeshift defence we've got. Big Goldstein's getting hammered left, right and centre. And to be quite truthful, he's had a poor start of the season. But if you're playing there and you've got guys that you're trying to look at, it's obviously taking you off your own game, and you're losing your own concentration. And we're going to be up against it here. It really is. And it's ridiculous that we've left ourselves short like this with crop players. We've signed these guys like John Suter and all. Everybody knew the history. They brought the guy in there. Unfortunately, the family bereavement, we can understand that as well. And look what we're doing. We've got a £4 million player there. And he's, I don't know, apparently they're a bounce game yesterday. We're hoping he's playing there against Hibs on Saturday, because we're going to need all these experienced players. I know that young King's inexperienced. All I'm just saying is, if it comes to the bit, we maybe need to play the boy if he was in the squad. I would have no scruples. I certainly wouldn't. He's a tall boy, he's fast, and he can tackle. And we've no height in that defence. Connor Goldson, for good he is, can't get off the grunt either a ball. That's why we've got John McLaughlin in goals to come out and catch the crossballs.
Well said, Alex. Well said, mate. Alex Kelly, the Leon Balogun situation, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
No, I agree with everything Alex said there. Bang on for me. For me, I think you've got to be pointing fingers at Ross Wilson. With the situation we knew we were in, with injuries, with Hollander, long-term injury. We had a look at Katic, and he obviously didn't fancy him in the pre-season. We've let Jack Simpson go. So they obviously had all that in mind to say to Balogun, no, we're not going to extend your deal. If they had that in mind, then for me that's negligence on their part, because they knew that area of the team was going to be a wee bit lightweight. He done the same last year as well with striker options going forward. We knew that Morelos and Roof, kind of injury-prone guys, we were screaming out for a striker, and he brought in Ramsey and Diallo, who were basically they hampered their squad going forward more than anything else. So I think you've got to point fingers again at Ross Wilson's recruitment, and I think it was an error. It's definitely an error because we're light in there. We could be Demi Balogun in there and then obviously he can step out. But why are we signing these guys when they're already injured? I mean, Hollander's cost about £4 million. Davis is £4 million. Roof was round about the same. They're £12 million of talent sitting in, benches. Can he improve the team? Morelos, when is he going to be up to fitness to challenge Kolak? Because I've heard Boy Star the last couple of shows, and he's 100% right. If something happens to Kolak, we've got no striker again, and that's not good enough for our club.
No, well said. Davey, mate, we've signed a centre back and we've signed a right back, and it's probably came to a total cost of about 10 million, and we've not had a chance to get them properly in the team yet. Is it probably time come Saturday to get these two boys in the team and bled through? Because the other night there I did notice as well that Bonner was tiring and all, and really for all the plaudits that the boy Ridvan's had, it's really time to try and bleed these two boys into the team, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you just answered what you asked me there. So look, I'll just hang up and let somebody else come in and get a wee shout. That's right. My nurse that's coming in now with my medication. So the box of Maltesers. So I'll say good night, you guys. And
cheers, Davey.
Great, and
Davey, all the best.
Bye, boy.
Davey, thanks for joining us tonight, Davey. And Tommy, back to you, mate. First time caller. Where are you from, Tommy?
Maryhill, Bill.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant. And again, the other night there, were you proud to hear the Champions League music, mate? Did it give you the kind of appetite for Rangers to be back in that year in, year out, mate?
You just want to be in there, do you? No, I don't think we've got the team to be in there amongst them, but you want to be. You see, when you listen to that music, you want the money, obviously, as well, you know what I mean? I agree with Alex here, that's a good point. Ross Wilson with the striking situation as well, totally not top-notch what he said there. Because they do that, we've not got a striker. See, Kolak does get injured. We have nobody. They're leaving with nobody.
I think Stevie touched on a certain player at the start of the show, Sakala. As much as he's not a striker, he's an attacker, and for some reason he's just not getting used. Alex Fawishy.
That's the funny thing, I know. Obviously, Gio doesn't rate him, but all the fans like him because he gives you 100%. And the guy would go, he's speeding that, and he'd probably cause a lot of trouble to the defences. We shouldn't be leaving ourselves short like this. This is the bottom line. When you were going into the European qualifying games, it was all pre-planned. We bought these guys, that Ben Davis and also the wee Turk. I mean, £10 million we spent there. They're no boat for the Premiership, the Scottish Premiership. They were boat for Europe. And I don't know how far they're away. I watched the wee Turk that time and on, he get took off. But Big Bonner's been playing quite well. I will say a bit of competition certainly pushed him on a bit. So he's been quite good. We've left ourselves short here. And that's the problem we've got. And we're not getting out here next Wednesday. This team's going to get us. They're a good team. And we're a good team also. But they'll feel scoring that late equaliser. That's gave them the lift to probably go in here. Rangers have proved it before away from home. We've seen it. I've been there and watched them. And I know what they can do to get a result. But I just feel with that defence we've got now, we're a bit suspect.
AK, you make a good point about recruitment and being ready for the kind of start of the season. Is it fair to say probably the last two seasons, probably the only season I think we can go back to is the season, the start of 55, that we looked ready after that Lyon competition. Since then, the following two seasons, we've been kind of, the word caught with your pants down a wee bit, because we knew these qualifiers were coming. We knew the start of the season was coming. Probably granted we didn't know Bassey's money was going to pop up out of nowhere, but it is a bit disappointing that we've not got a solid defence, because we've been great when we've had a solid defence.
Listen, Gary, it's near enough the same personnel that you're talking about. That one is the 55. You know, it's Tavernier and Barisic and Golson. Obviously, McGregor's he's dipped out the team now. I think we've caused a lot of our own problems actually with this new zonal marking system. I don't think the guys are comfortable with it at all, and I think we're actually giving the opposition, you know, a head start on it. You see it constantly there. That, I mean, I revert back to your point you made about Gio following certain managers' leads. I can, you know, through the 70s, the English teams in that were dominating Europe. Everybody was playing 4-4-2 with wingers, two strikers, solid defences. You go up the way through the 90s with AC Milan, they started the sweeper thing with Baresi, brilliant. And then with the Barcelona years and the Bayern Munich years, and every coach has kind of seemed to, you know, make their own team play that way, as Stevie intimated. That's all right when you've got multi-million-pound players that can play that system. Our guys aren't at that level, you know, so try and make it simple. It's a simple game, but we're, you know, putting ourselves under pressure with certain situations. We're allowing ourselves with teams to come on to us, and we're not helping ourselves. Get the ball up the park, win second balls, you know, and then we go for there. But it's we're not as bad as what probably we think there. It's just the standards have increased and the teams that we're up against has increased. So we're 100%, 3 out of 3, top of the league. It's just we're not scoring enough goals for me, and we're conceding these sloppy goals. So, but we're still in this tie. 2 each is nothing. We're capable of going out there. I wouldn't be too defeatist to say, no, we're out of this. But it's going to be hard, but we need to be bang on that night with defence to give ourselves a chance, that's for sure.
Stevie, has it been bad luck, or has it just been badly organised ways for the kind of run up to these Champions League qualifiers? Because I think Union kind of showed us that we weren't really ready with tactics and personnel in that game, and yet we managed to come back and put in a good performance. And again, the other night there, as Alex Kelly's touched on, is we've put on a performance and we're still in a tie. So has it just been bad luck, or has it just been badly organised?
Probably a wee bit of both. Listen, see the Union game, the players, when they came back to Ibrox, the game at Ibrox, the players were under so much pressure to get the win. They were under so much. If they didn't get that win, it would have been embarrassing. Let's be honest, the Rangers fans would have been gone nuts. And the boys were under pressure and they got the result. 3-0, 3 goals, none against. £5 million back tail to move on to PSV. Now, we weren't that bad against PSV, but if you're the PSV manager getting into this next game, what are you going to tell your big defenders when there's a ball to get punted in? Listen, they're no good in there. Put high balls into that box. And if McLaughlin's not going to come out and grab a few of them, but we could be in trouble that way, because it is a weakness we've got. And it's something that the Zono, I said it earlier on in the show, Zono Martin's not working for us. If that's the line they're going down with Zono Martin, we're always going to have problems. I prefer... Sorry, on you go. No, finish off, Steve. Finish off, mate. Sorry, I thought you were finished. Sorry, I was just going to say, I get back to it again. We've just got no big commanding centre halves. No big commander. It's all, they're good in the ground, We need somebody that's good in the air. But we really need a big... Bridgman goes on about a big 6'5" killer. Maybe we need one of them to play along with the football players. You know, I know we get rid of Katic, who was good in the air, but we probably get rid of him because he was no good on the ground and it didn't suit our way of playing. We play out for the back. And that's probably why Katic didn't get fit. But we need to do something. We've got a problem with cross balls into the box. I mean, it's just no right. And I don't know who it was that said it earlier on. I think it was Alex Fawishy said we need to stop the balls getting crossed into the box. Now, Borna and Tav can be suspect at that at times. No getting to it and the boys crossing it out. Probably because Tab's already been pushing up the park. We've seen what happened the first game of the season with Livingston. Borna should have attacked the ball and he didn't. And then it was just a big bounce and the guy flicked it over into our net. That's too easy. That is far too easy for a Rangers team. And we've got the problem, and we're going to have the problem until somebody takes the reins in a left side of that park and works with Golson, because Golson is babysitting sometimes. Golson's too worried about getting out and covering somebody else and no playing in his own position. You do see it sometimes, but Golson's not started the season well himself. So for me, they just need to get this sorted out, and I've no doubt they will. If I can see it, surely Gio and them can see it. Do you know what I mean?
Tommy, I think that the Stevie's saying there that it's about investing, and I mean, next Tuesday is going to be a 20 million cup final for the team, and that 20 million could allow Gio to go and get, I don't know, another defender to get him cover in there going into the Champions League. Or you might find that there's a top quality player sitting in a Premier League team that's not going to be getting a game this season, and we're able to bring him on loan. It just shows you the importance of next week and getting it right.
Aye, totally agree with you. Aye. We need that money. You're right there. If we can get it, you know what I mean. But as a one-off team, there wasn't much between the two teams. We were good in the first half, and they were good in the second half. It was the goals we conceded, the way we conceded it was annoying, and it's a worry for me. That left-hand side, that's a worry for us.
GB,
Alex, on you go, Stevie.
It's the UEFA Women's Champions League. The Teddy Bear women won 3-1 against Ferencváros. All right, mate. Just a week.
Oh, they've set the bar, mate. They've set the bar for next week. Well done it. Well done, the ladies.
Well done, the Rangers.
Alex, if we wish you, mate, at the 20 million cup final, is that fair to say?
It certainly is. Well done, the ladies. Absolutely fantastic. Like Stevie's 100% right what he said, because Bridgman's been on about this for I couldn't been on the show, a big centre half. I mentioned a guy away back there in Bromby, big 6'5" guy called Maxwell. That was the type of player we should have went for to clear the lines. Alec Kelly's right enough. The zonal marking does not work. And honestly, we've got us on a position here. By the way, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I come on here next Wednesday and turn and say, look, I've got this absolutely wrong. Rangers are through to the next round. Nothing make me happier, because I know boys that's getting out there. I know exactly what it's all about. But we've put ourselves in a kind of vulnerable position here, with what do you call it, injuries and that. And it's all right, folks saying, we'll go here and get into Europa. Right, that's fine. Everybody says we're a Europa team. Maybe we are. But you've got to remember one thing I know. We get into Europa, and unfortunately, another mob across the city has jumped into the Champions League. They'll play Wednesdays. We'll play Thursdays. They'll play Saturdays, and we'll play Sunday. And that's us catch up. That's pressure on you again. So the game next Wednesday is a massive game for us, and I hope we can turn it round.
Yeah.
Well said, mate. I think we've been joined by Blue Star. Are you there, buddy?
Evening, guys. I was listening to you there about the same as what we were saying last night and ever since Tuesday's game. Listen, guys, I agree with Alex and Big Stevie 100%. Listen, go back to last season when we got to the final. Were we ever good in the air? No, we weren't. Has Golson been good in the air since he came? And I'm not, by the way, I'm not digging Golson. I'm talking about even when Bassey was there. But know what Bassey done? Bassey didn't get shoved off a ball. See, when a guy ran in on him, how many times did you actually panic? There was a couple of times, even in, I think it was against Braga and against Eintracht Frankfurt, where you seen the guy literally bouncing off him. He stuck his elbows in his ribs. He was a big physical unit. Somebody said there about lack of physicality. We don't have it. It's not just about heading the ball in the air. Now, listen to me, guys. I say that ever since Katic started getting dropped. I'll go back to it again. he might not have been the best on the ground. Are you telling me Goldson's great on the ground? I'll tell you right now, guys. Anybody that says he is kidding herself on, because he's no. Up until Tuesday night, the point I made on here 2 or 3 times was the couple of games in the league previous and especially against Union, his distribution was woeful. Now, we know he's not started out the season well, far from it. But he ain't the best of defenders. Where we were getting away from it, and the guys have already touched on it, is quite simply, we're playing against inferior opposition every week. That's a fact. That's why they put on a low block, because they can't come out and go at us. They don't have the ability. And that's putting it in a nutshell. You're then getting into a game against a team like PSV that have spent millions upon millions, and they've got a higher class of calibre of player. Therefore, you've got to bring tactics into it. And the one thing Gio's been doing, as somebody mentioned about Davis there, I mentioned the point last night, the end of last season, Davis wasn't considered in any way, shape or form under Gio. Now remember, guys, we didn't have the best midfield last season. Even Aribo was running on empty. But he kept playing him. He kept playing Alfie, and that's why Alfie eventually got cropped. So we're in the same situation again. We've got the best part of 27 million sitting in the background that can't even get on the park because they're all cropped. That's including Hadji, etc. So you've got to play to tactics. Somebody mentioned bringing the boy King in. The only time you could bring King in would be Saturday's game against Hibs. And I'll tell you right now, guys, Gio's no intentions of bringing King in now, because he wouldn't do it with Lowry when Lowry was playing well. He won't do it. He wouldn't play Davis. He's got his favourites. He's the same as any other manager. So what he's been doing is he brought in no Davis, the other guy, the one I like, the midfielder next to Lindstrom in the league game there. Jack played okay. The game before that, he brought in Davis. Davis was dropped to bring in Jack. Saturday's game there, what happened? Tuesday's game there, what did he do? He dropped Jack and he brought in Davis. And by the way, Davis had a good game. Davis's distribution was very, very good. Very good. But watch it in Saturday, guys. That's how you trust Gio out. Watch the team that he puts out in Saturday. And let me tell you, see if he plays the guy, Ben Davis. I'll tell you right now, I'll bet MD any money that can go to charity. He won't play him on Tuesday, even if he plays a blinder Saturday. The reason being, he won't. When it's guys that he's not playing all the time, he won't. He's playing them in fits and starts. He won't play them 2 and 3 games in a row. He just won't do it. The problem you've got to know is, we all know it, the defence is absolutely shocking. It's Big Stevie's right. What do you do? I'll tell you guys, the only thing that our manager can basically do, and it's going to be very, very difficult, see if he midfield to attack. Quite frankly, we've got to go for it. Because the one thing they've got the same problem as us. They are not great at the back, but we didn't press them enough. And old Davey got it right there. See, whenever we were 2-1 up, Gio got it wrong with bringing on Kamara. And I know I've heard the guys saying, oh, well, he was trying to tighten up. No, he wasn't. He was trying to tighten up in the sense that he was trying to hang on to it. He should have went for that third goal, guys. That's where they were suspect, at the back. And incidentally on that as well, I know I'm ranting a bit, but I'm sorry, guys. Big Kolak, I said the point last night, anything happens to Kolak, we're in major trouble. Major, major trouble. So he'll start with Kolak on Saturday because he has to. As soon as we go a couple of goals up, hopefully it'll be pretty soon, he'll need to bring that big guy off. I'll tell you right now, guys, because if anything happens to him, we're in right soapy bubble. Never mind Wednesday night's game. We're in soapy bubble even for this league because we've got no cover at the moment. Alfie's nowhere near fit. Nowhere near it. Right. Yes, he can bring on Sakala. There's Sakala as well, guys. Why is he not getting used even in the league?
Blue Star, we'll need to take some of your points, mate. You're going around nearly the full squad. We'll start with the defence and we'll go to Tommy because Tommy's a first time caller and he's not had that many points yet, mate. Right, so we'll go with your defence first. So, Tommy, mate, Blue Star touched on it. Sands is in defence now in place of Bassey, and that just kind of shows the quality that we've obviously dropped. No Hermit Sands, but he's obviously not that centre back, and it's obviously got to be a place we're going to have to address, Tommy. But for next week, we're going to have to go with what we've got.
I think he's going to stick. I agree with Blue Star. I think he's going to stick by the guys that he likes. like Sands and Arfield. That's the players that he likes. You know what I mean? He's right. When Davis did have a good game, he brought him out the team, and he didn't play. He brought in somebody else. You know what I mean? So he does change it that way, Gio, and he changes it to the ones that he likes, which is a bit kind of unfair. If a guy's played well in that game, he's due at least another game. Davis just ran out of steam on Wednesday night, Tuesday night. Sorry, he ran out of steam. I felt he was getting tired. He had a great game, but he was getting tired. You can see they had the better the play, and that's how I felt he brought on Kamara and that. Blue Star's right and all, because if we would have went for it, we might have got that for a goal. But then again, the way they were playing, they could have scored. They could have been up the park and scored at any time, because they were on top of us. And I think that's what he was fearing. He was he played right because he knows right will track back. He played Kamara because he knows Kamara will not go forward. That's why he never brought Arfield on, or like Sakala on Tuesday night, because he knew that they were on top of us. So I just hope we can turn it around, and I hope we're all rang and we do qualify.
Well said, mate. Well said.
We need that money. We definitely need that money.
AK.
Guy, cheers us quick one. Who have we got for cover for Goldson? Who's what cover for Goldson? Never mind that. Big Hillander, etc. Who's what cover for Goldson? Why is he automatically walking into the team no matter what?
Right, Blue Star, I'll take it round. Just hold on. Right, so AK, who's the cover?
Well, for me, it's Suter. I think we signed Suter in January with the expectation that Golson was going to be leaving us at the end of the season and we were going to go forward with Suter. But all of a sudden, Golson changed his mind. I think the club offered Golson a 2-year contract, and all of a sudden he's got a 4-year contract. So we're stuck with him whether we like it or not. But listen, Blue Star's right. It's their deficiencies there in the defence, and I'm actually thinking, is it because Alan McGregor's no there in between the sticks now that he can organise the defence? McLaughlin's a bit quieter, and they maybe don't trust him as much. I don't know, but there's something definitely niggling away with the players, because you get to, it's pals act, it's guys that you're used to playing with. You know what they're going to be doing, and that's what makes good teams going forward. McLaughlin looks a wee bit unsure at times this year, and I definitely think the Achilles heel now is this zonal marking at set pieces. I don't think we're doing ourselves any favours with this at all.
Alex, for wish is the problem being that the Golson and Bassey was such a well-oiled machine that it's we've obviously caused our own problems. We've had to take the money, but now we're sitting there scratching for that defender to have the understanding with Golson and Barisic, because let's be fair, they took it, that defence that we had took us to a European final.
You're right, GB, but at the beginning, Bassey had a torrid time at centre back at the beginning. His head ability, that was his fault. And the boy came on to some game. He went to a level that no one has even seen it was coming. So that was it. With Golson, that's maybe right, Alec Kelly saying with McGregor and that, but the point is that everybody agreed with McGregor. If he's got a downfall, he never come out for a cross ball. That's how McLaughlin's in the team now, because he's the only one liable to get a hold of the ball when it comes into the box. But Golson is getting it right tight. There's no arguing the guy when he signed the deal and he came back. Beginning of the season, he has been really poor. I watch him. I'm there every week. Well, mostly every week. I don't know who, but it's that same. When you've got unsettled defence, they're not really concentrating their own jobs now. They're looking around about to see what everybody else is doing. And this is a downfall with it. This team's a big, powerful team. It was an even game. We were better in the first half and we were better in the second half. But they will come at us. They'll definitely come. You'll see the weakness here in that Rangers defence.
Aye, 100%. Just lads, if you're not talking, if you just go on mute, I think we've been joined with Big Al. You there, mate?
Aye, how you doing, gentlemen?
Very well, buddy. How's the sunshine?
Hey, Big Al.
Aye, Sunshine's all right. I was just wanting to ask Alex Kelly something. I heard you make a comment there a wee while ago, Alex, saying that the game is simple. Does that mean you'll be very, very good at football?
Oh, well.
How you doing, buddy? Good to hear your dulcet
Good.
tones. You're not like Ronaldo
You
and
too,
Messi,
Al.
man, playing football then, eh? Look, I think I have to agree with Alex, and it's been a very good show, actually, this morning. Very insightful. But I have to agree with I think we dropped the ball a wee bit. Look, we talk about Tavernier and goals and that, and they've been there a while. I think sometimes it is, even if some players are playing good or they're perceived to be playing good, I think it's also good to freshen up in certain areas. Get rid of... We've got the same team. People keep talking about go to a European final. It means nothing getting to a European final unless you win it. That's the way I look at it. We never won it. I think it's just good sometimes to change, maybe when you're in a position of strength. Yeah, if that makes sense. Now, signing players, and we've done it since I was a boy, signing players that are injured. I don't know who comes up with that theory, who thinks that works, but it certainly doesn't work. Is this Big Ben Davis, is he injured or is he just unfit?
For what I've gathered, mate, he's trying to get game time, and I don't think he wanted to fling him in the other night.
Because if we'd have spent £4 million on a player who's injury prone, heads must roll. But in regards to a point that Stevie made, and it was a good point, like, we've got defenders that can't jump for the ball or head of the ball at the box, so teams are going to come at us and play high balls into the box. Yeah, that makes perfect sense if you're the opposition. But if we get a defender that can play high balls but is no good on the deck, they'll just change. What we need is a defender that's good in the air and good with the ball at his feet. Yeah, but in Scottish football. In Scottish football, I think that's a rarity, isn't it? You either have one or the other, unless it's Man City.
Is that where the money comes in, Big Al? That also makes
definitely
so important. Well, because if we get in there, if we get in there, then it opens up the cabinet to all these different players of high quality, because they are looking at Champions League.
You just can't keep buying players. You just can't keep buying players for cover. I think you made the comment a wee while ago as well. Another player for cover. How many players do we need to cover positions? We've got Alex for Wishaw. He's one of the guys that talks sense. I enjoy listening to Alex. He made the pertinent point. We've got the young guy King there. He seems to be good in the air and can play the ball. Well, is that a ready-made replacement? Get him in the team. I think we would all appreciate young players in the team. We gave Patterson time to develop for however long he was there, you know what I mean? So I think that's another option for us. We shouldn't look too far ahead. We shouldn't think about going spending £4 or £5 million on injured players. And I know the big boy we go for Hearts, but I wouldn't have touched him a bad pull because he's got a record and a history of being injured. I just don't think it's a very good business model for us. That's my
well said.
I'm all relaxed now, man. That's me back into Zen.
No, AK, Big Al makes a good point. Are we always too cautious with the young boys, in the sense of, Stevie says if they're on the bench and then they're ready, they're part of the squad, they're in the first team. Why are we always so cautious? It seems to be a Rangers trait, yet other teams, and I'll not name names, but other teams do fling in the youngsters, and they have had rewards from it.
Mm-hmm. No, listen, I was bang on, and unfortunately, historically, probably for the 90s, we haven't had a lot of youngsters breaking through into our team for whatever reason, whether they're not considered good enough or they don't trust them. Seen Derek Ferguson, Ian Durrant break into a team, Barry Ferguson break into a team, Alan Hutton. But there's no very many. Alan McGregor is a boy as well. But Alan McGregor had to bide his time before he came in. So it is a trait. It comes down to trust for the manager. But we've seen signs there that King is good enough, Lowry's good enough, McCann has got potential as well. But unfortunately, the manager sees there's guys ahead of them. And there's big games coming up. The thing about our club is it's cutthroat. We're expected to win basically every game, and if we lose, then the first fingers that could point at could be at the youngins, and that could, shatter their confidence or whatever for future ahead. But
Alec, you wouldn't point the fingers at the young ones, would you?
No, definitely
because
no.
I realise they're young. I think it's mismanagement within the club, that the club are scared, that they think that the fans are going, if we see a young guy gain 100% on the park, I think that's all you can ask for. And by the way, 20 games later, if he's not good enough, he tried it, he done it, it didn't work. I would be quite happy with that, mate. Like, see the goalkeeper we've got, what he must be pulling. Why have we got Alan McGregor sitting on the bench and then a 35-year-old in goal, right? McLaughlin, get McCrory in. I would take McCrory in. He can say what he's want, but I would take McCrory in. He's a young guy. We can hear him. I think he was dominant. Stevie raised a good point. He played in that game against the man came up, and it was as if he'd been there for 100 years. He played well, yeah? So I think we've got to take a chance with youth. I think we've got to take a chance with youth.
Blue Star, mate, youth, why is Rangers always so cautious and not wanting to just give them their shot and see what happens, like Big Al saying?
I don't know, mate. As I say, you've seen it even in last season when we were in front. Lowry was perfectly fit. He played him a couple of 20-minute games. Big Al was on this show time and time again asking for Lowry to get played. Gio wouldn't even consider him. And that's how I'm saying the likes of the boy King. I agree with you, so if King's got the ability and he falls flat in his face on Wednesday night, then at least he tried. But guys, you need to call it for what it is. If Gio won't play him in Scotland, he ain't going to bring him in against PSV. It ain't happening.
Big Al, mate. There you go.
I agree there. If he's not going to play with Scotland, but that's the thing. Is there an unnecessary level of pressure that Gio thinks is there? Because is anybody on this panel going to would we really be if King played and say he missed timed a tackle, but he had played 85 minutes and it was great. I mean, didn't make the Champions League. You know what? I wouldn't be too bothered about it because they think.
Well, here's the thing: he's brought in Tillman and he's brought in Matondo. Matondo's only 19 and he's only a young boy. You've answered your own question. If he can play them, how can he not play with own players?
Well, that's correct. I'm exactly the same as you. But we're playing Sands, an on loan player who's a young guy. Is he any better than what we've got?
Exactly, and Sands, and that's not even Sands' position, and yet he's willing to throw him in there. So
correct.
It's down to your manager.
It's down to the manager. Well, the manager of the club, I think, but I don't think as fans, and that's what I'm trying to get at. I don't think as fans we would be too harsh on their players. Yeah,
definitely not.
100%.
Different way a player like Sands or a player like that one that came in, Diallo or whatever his name was last year, or any of the loan players, that's different because they're not our players. Of course, I'd be more upset.
Who's that, sorry?
Gary,
is that AK?
Right, just quickly, going through your question about Tavernier to the boys just before you wrap up. Is he the best right back we've ever had in our club?
You've been waiting. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll save that for another night because it's nearly that time.
Come on, quickly. One big Al, let's hear this.
Right, wait a minute. If he's, I'll go round you, but he's need to be quick, alright? So, Big Al first, on you go.
Well, the answer to that is we've been talking for him. He's been at the club 7 years and we're always talking about him, so that gives you your answer. The best is obviously Sandy Jardine, then Stevens, probably Stuart Monroe, Dave McPherson, and then Tavernier. Tavernier's not a captain, and he does well going forward, but he's not a defender. Captain, marvellous. Aye.
Tommy?
I think he is top notch. His stats proves it for me. I played at right back as well, so I'm going with Tavs.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant. Alex, for Wishy?
Williams, Sandy Jardine, Gary Stevens, Kai Hansen. And Tavernier is absolutely brilliant the last 6 years, how long he's been here. But Sandy Jardine, without a doubt.
Blue Star.
Sandy Jardine, and that's not taking anything away from Tav. We all know Tav's a great player, but if you're talking about a Rangers legend, oh no, there's nobody in front of Sandy Jardine, not even Gary Stevens.
AK, are you happy with the answers, mate?
Oh, no, well said, boys. That backs me up.
Fox will be hunting the lotties.
Great show, though,
but
boys.
No, like you says there, it's all about different points of view. And Big Al, mate, you came on, made good points. The youth has always been a bugbear of mine. If they're on that bench and they're fit and ready, why not just give them a punt? But I suppose Gio's looking at it. It's a £20 million game next week, so he's got to cover his backside, isn't he?
But he could have sorted that himself last season by winning the league. We wouldn't need to be playing these things, so he didn't blame the young boys or hang with. That's all down to him and the players that are on the park. By the way, the players that have still been there that have been there too long. I think a lot of them carrying some.
Well, lads,
sorry. Right, take care, gentlemen. All the best. Bye bye.
Cheers,
thanks for having me on. Thanks for the first time. Thanks for having me on.
Tommy, it's been a pleasure, mate. Great points, and don't be a stranger, mate. Obviously, give us a phone back in. We're Monday to Friday and before match days, mate. So please come back in with more points, mate. You're very welcome.
Aye, no problem. We are the people, remember.
Good man, good man. Blue Star, final words, mate.
Guys, quick question to you all. One word answer. Would you have any qualms about playing Liam King next to Goldson on Saturday against Hibs?
Quickly then, nope. AK?
Aye, I would.
And Blue Star?
I agree, I wouldn't either. But there's your answer when we're talking about King getting brought in for PSV. It ain't going to happen, guys.
Alex, we wish you, mate. Final words, mate.
Great show, GB. Stevie, thanks very much. And I enjoyed it. Thank you.
AK.
Oh, well done tonight, Gary. Lively show. Well done, though, to yourself and Stevie and the backroom boys. Thanks for taking my call. We are the people.
I think Stevie's away to catch up on last week's game, so it is over to myself. I would just like to thank all the callers tonight. We had Old Davey, we had AK, we had Alex from Russia, we had Tommy, who's a first-time caller, brilliant points. Blue Star, always a pleasure, mate. Big Al, and
great show, guys.
And Big Stevie for the drum, my sidekick tonight. Big thanks to the technical team, Old School Blue and Fox. And we'll be back tomorrow night. And I think we'll be joined by Southside and Jaffa. You have a great week. Enjoy the show. And like they says, we are the people.
Thank you.
Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay. Won't you come and cheer us? Help the boys along. White and blue, coming through with a song. Oh, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay. We'll be there